And welcome to Overtime, brought to you by KingsCast at www.kingscast.net. I'm Keith Korneluk.
And I'm Chris Kalazewski.
And I'm freaking freezing out here. These Edmonton, Alberta-like conditions here in Los Angeles. But hey, got a couple of W's, Chris.
That's right. Kink is putting together a little win streak here, so it's been a while, but we are glad to be back here talking about the Kings' big road trip and that one game against Columbus. Here talking about Detroit, St. Louis, Columbus, Chicago, Edmonton, and tonight's game against the Calgary Flames. We'll also do some fun facts about the province of Alberta, and we'll also do a segment that, Jesus, we haven't done in a very long time. Throw out some numbers.
Throw out some numbers. So here we go, episode 180, entitled LA Kings Battle in Alberta. Let's go.
All right, Keith, so it has been a while, obviously, and we're not going to talk about those old games. Old news, we've moved on, but we go back really quickly. Detroit, this is like the Edmonton game that we played in earlier last month, where what a heartbreaker, you know, Drewski getting that late goal. You think the game's tied, thinking maybe we get a point, only to lose it with, what, 4 or 5 seconds left?
What a terrible game. Jonathan Quick, of course, getting the boot for the next game against St. Louis, which we won 4-1. St. Louis also not playing their best brand of hockey. Most people on the Puck Daddy, thought that they were going to win the Western Conference. That doesn't look like it'll happen. Still a long way to go in the season, but nice to see that happen. Then on to Columbus. And Chris, if you're not beating Columbus, you're kind of an asshole.
Yeah, you know what? That was kind of an iffy game, too. I mean, talk about it. First of all, a very boring game. Glad to see them win for the first time since I was been going to the games this season, because I have only seen them, lose in overtime. But that was a game with a 2-1. They almost blew it there at the end, but glad to sneak away with the W. Nice to see Jack Johnson again, and remind us that he's not on our team.
Yeah, not really. And then on to Chicago, and a real test for the Los Angeles Kings. Would they win? Absolutely not. Chicago Blackhawks obviously dominating. Kings losing 3-2. Sort of a late surge for the Los Angeles Kings, and they weren't blown out, Chris, which was nice to see. Jonathan Quick actually started to look a little bit stronger, which was nice.
Yeah, not quite there yet. Chicago still hasn't lost in regulation, so they're on a pretty impressive streak, so glad that we can kind of get a couple goals against them. Moving on to the province of Alberta.
To the province of Alberta, and guys, the last few games, something we definitely want to talk about here, the Edmonton and Calgary games, but before we do, it's a brand new segment entitled The Top 10 Things That We Like About the Province of Alberta.
Number 10, Calgary is home to the annual Testicle Festival.
Number 9, the town of St. Paul is home to the first UFO landing pad.
Number 8, wooden logs may not be painted.
Number 7, you may not use dice to play craps.
Number 5, businesses must provide rails for mounting horses.
Number 4, there are no rats at all in the province of Alberta. Seriously.
Number 4, Vegreville is home to the world's largest Easter egg.
Number 3, Edmonton is the murder capital of Canada.
Number 2, anyone released from jail is given a horse, a gun, and some bullets to escape town without being molested.
And the number 1 fun fact about the province of Alberta is that snowball throwing is illegal unless you have the permission of the city mayor himself. What? All right, so here we are in Edmonton. Well, we're not here in Edmonton, but yeah.
Feels like it.
Yeah, the Kings were in Edmonton, and, the big story, they always like to interview, former Kings, things of that nature. Ryan Smith interviewed, talking about it was a tough pill to swallow when he saw the Los Angeles Kings win the Stanley Cup, but he said his family really feels safe in Edmonton. Now, as you know from our previous segment there, Edmonton is the murder capital of Canada. I think last year they had 47 murders. Well, somebody else on kingshockey.com, one of our favorite sites, pulled up a stat. There was 1 murder last year in Manhattan Beach. So why you feeling so safe up in Canada, yo?
All right, Kings fans, so back to Alberta we go. Let's talk about this Edmonton game. I mean, Keith, this is a game, again, that a must-win. We kind of wanted to, enact revenge.
Is every game not a must-win at this point?
Yeah, it really is. It's a short season, yeah, the way the Kings are playing. It really was a must-win. Hitting the road against a team that, like we said, last month we had one of the big meltdowns against. Yakupov skated in the middle of the ice like they just won the friggin' cup. So we were really hoping for a big outcome this game, and, got it for the most part. Colin Fraser with a goal, Carter with a goal, Stoll with a goal. goal. Nice to see those guys. Colin Fraser, hey, I'll take it, bro.
Yeah.
And Carter continuing his torrid pace. Looks like he might be dethroning Kopitar for the team lead in goals at the end of the season, which he's had for 5 years in a row.
Yeah, certainly as hell looks like it. Definitely a good game by the Los Angeles Kings. Quick getting the start again, which makes sense. He's the number 1 goaltender. I think it's funny when they say, is there a goaltending controversy brewing in LA? No, there really isn't. Quick is still a very, very good goaltender. From what I saw, I liked it. The bottom line is, Chris, is we're missing, 3 of our top defensemen in Mitchell, Green, and Alec Martinez. And, you're subbing in Keaton Ellerby, former Florida Panther, and, Jake Muzzin and Davis Drewiski. I mean, I thought we're starting to pull it together. And, you take away that, 3-1 win, and we've actually won 3 of our last 4, which is not bad. So, we'll take it. And then going into Calgary this evening, Daryl Sutter's old hometown. I don't know if you're watching the game, Kings fans, but Daryl Sutter's got one hell of a goddamn cold sore on his lip.
I'm going to go ahead and contribute that to being back in Alberta, I think. I mean, it's safe to say that we rescued him from the farm. It wasn't like we dragged him off of it. We rescued him from the farm.
Yeah.
He wants to be there. Come on.
Maybe he got that because he missed practice the other day, Chris. Maybe he went back to the farm and maybe got the herp from the horse. I don't know. I'm floating out there. That's a possibility. But the game tonight, I think for the most part, the Kings dominated. And it's really funny. I mean, Calgary Flames, you want to look at a team that is just in shambles now.
Blow it up.
Yeah, it's one of the teams, Chris, where I felt the Los Angeles Kings looked like a fast skating team. Like that was our specialty, was fast skating.
Yeah, there's not many teams that the Kings will face where that is the case, and it definitely looked like they were just all over it tonight, especially with some of our slow-ass guys, and they know who they are. Yeah. But it was a big game. Dustin Brown with his 4th goal, and Jeff Carter, again, scored his 8th tonight, the game winner, and it was fantastic to see because, it's been a struggle across the board for the Kings players. Doughty without a goal. Williams really haven't heard of him much. Kopitar slowed down. He's going through one of his streaks again. So I thought it was a huge win. It was a big road win, and it seems like, despite the Kings' record, which is, now 7-6-2 for 16 points, I mean, they've done pretty good because they played a lot of their games on the road, and it's always a tough road trip going out to Alberta. They usually lose one of those Alberta games.
Typically do.
So I'll take them, taken both of those games. So it was a big win.
Yeah, Jonathan Bernier again with the start. I thought he looked pretty solid. And, I don't see Jonathan Bernier, Chris, getting traded this season. Not at the trade deadline, no matter how, whatever it is we need, because there's no backup goaltenders out there. And as far as I know, Martin Jones in, Manchester is not ready to do it. But it's nice to see him get a few starts. So I think quick, slow start was actually good for Bernier. And for the Kings, I mean, they're going to have to trade him eventually. Good for them in the future. So, that was definitely nice to see. But, 4 wins of our last 5, not bad. Creeping up the standings. Still not in the playoff picture just yet, but, win against Colorado and, on Saturday, and then, well, are we going to beat the Ducks? Probably not, on Monday. But, we're definitely starting to get back into the conversation there. Still early in the season, and hopefully the Los Angeles Kings can get back to where they should be. Yeah,
the Ducks game will be a good test. I mean, the Ducks are on a tear. It's hard for us to say, but they really are playing well, scoring a lot of goals. So that'll be interesting to see how they show up again, because we obviously, as you remember that last game, sort of a shootout for a while until the Ducks pulled away and dropped, 7 goals. So let's go.
All right, Kings fans, it's back. You haven't listened to us since the podcast. This is what we look like. But here's a segment that we haven't done since that podcast back in 2000 and, I don't know.
9?
Whatever. It was a long time ago, and we looked a little bit better back then. It is a segment we like to call Throw Out Some Numbers. And basically what we'll do is we'll put a few numbers out there, and the other person will tell you what that means. So, Chris?
All right, Keith. Throwing out some numbers right now.
Okay.
2 and 4.
That, Chris, would be Joe Corvo. The number of goals and +4 he has on the Carolina Hurricanes. Drew Doughty has 0 goals and is a -9. Oof. All right, Chris, the number 4, the number 9, and the number 4.
Braden Shen's goals, assists, and +4. Mike Richards has 4 goals, 5 assists, and is a -6. All right, Keith, 0.
That would be the number of games that I personally have attended when the Kings won. And finally, Chris, the number 25.
The number of points the Anaheim Ducks have. The Los Angeles Kings, of course, have 16.
And that has been another episode of Throw Out Some Numbers. All right, Kings fans. So, as bad as the last segment was, the Kings are on the uptick, which is nice to see. I want to throw something out there, guys. If you are going to be at the Wednesday game against the Detroit Red Wings, we want to do a special video inside of Staples Center, and we're looking for a few volunteers that want to be on the camera with us. It will take about, 30 to 40 seconds. So if you're interested, hit us up on Facebook or email keith@kingscast.net. We'll get in touch with you. Don't forget to like our video down below. Subscribe up top. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. You know you have to. We love you. You love us. Who doesn't? I'm Keith Cornell.
And I'm Chris Kelsey.
Thanks for watching Overtime. Bye, KingsCast.
No, it's good. It's dynamic as f***.
Yeah, of course it is. Look who's hosting.